Good afternoon.
Okay, so let me introduce you. So, without any further delay, let's dive into the virtual sea of knowledge and exploration. Greetings and a warm welcome to everyone joining us from various concerns of the digital realm. Thank you for joining us for the today's webinar. Let me introduce myself. I'm Kalai Selvi. I'm the event coordinator at Texila American University. So today we are going to discuss about the topic data analysis for decision making. Mr. Taiwan is an enthusiastic for STEAM education who is committed to promoting good change via the application and the integration of ICT to address and resolve issues related to health, social justice, and the economy. Possessing three master's degrees in computer science, physics, and MBA, finance and project management, in addition to a bachelor degree in physics and mathematics. And lastly, a computer science PhD candidate. Mr. Taiwan is motivated by a deep sense of purpose and he never stops working to make the ICT work more inclusive and equal where everyone has access to the tool they need to succeed. So today he is here to present on the topic data analysis for decision making. We welcome you, Mr. Taiwan. Over to you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mr. Kawonga, and I'll be taking you in today's webinar presentation on data analytics for decision making. And the whole purpose is to leverage data analytics for decision making. First thing is first, let's look at what I have for everyone. First thing that is on the to-do list, we'll look at the history of data analytics. Then we define key terms that are used. Then secondly, we'll look at the definition of data analytics. We look at data analytics in terms of the data analytics process. And thirdly, we look at the different kinds of data analytics, the value, the advantages of data analytics. Fourthly, we also look at the recognition of data analytics in the place of decision making. Fifth part is that we look at the essential methods and resources for data analysis, or rather the tools or techniques. Now, I'll give a few case studies on the practical use of for data analytics. Then second, lastly, we look at the best ways in which data analytics and decision making is best used. Then lastly, we do a summary and then we conclude. Okay, so let's get started. Briefly, I'll give a brief background of data analytics. Because when you look at data analytics, it has come a long way. If you look at history itself, it started way back in before the early 1900s. Okay. Now, in the early beginnings, this is an era where it was in the Stone Age session. Then as time unfolded, there was the rise of statistics. Now, in the rise of statistics, we have a time that is in 1660s, rather 1600. There was a time when one of the first statistical analytics took place. That was in England. Okay. And then as time unfolded, there was an era where data processing evolution emerged in the 1800s. Okay. So in the 1800s to the 1900s, this is an era where we saw a lot of developments in terms of technology and other advancements technology as well. Okay. Then we have the modern era. Now, when you look at the modern era, in this era, it started from the 1900s to the present. But again, when you look at the subsets of this era, discover that the fourth industrial revolution era. Now, in this era, this is where we talk of the advancement of artificial intelligence, okay, robotics, and automation. Okay, so this is just a brief background of data analytics. Now, before we go any further, let's look at some of the key terms that could be looked at in terms of data analytics. Okay, now the first term that we look at is we want to find out the basics so as to have an insight of what we are discussing in depth. So the first definition that we look at of the term is data. So when you look at data, basically data refers to a collection of raw facts, figures, observation, or symbols that have yet to be organized, processed, and analyzed. It exists in various forms, including numbers, text, images, audio, and video. And when you look at data, it comes from different sources. Okay, I'll give some examples of different sources of data. So for example, you can actually obtain data from sensors. An example of this, I'll give an example of in geography. There are these tectonic plates, and there are some areas where there are earthquake movements. So they place sensors in these designated areas to collect data. So sensors are some of the examples of sources of data. Then we have surveys, we have databases, we have documents, and also log files on the websites and other electronic gadgets. Okay. Now, in addition to data, you observe that data is the foundation of information and knowledge. So once data is organized and analyzed, it provides insightful meaning and thereby facilitating decision making. Okay. The next definition of term, we look at information. So basically, information is the processed, organized, and structured form of data that conveys meaning and significance. Okay. Then for the data sources, of course, I gave an example. So a data source is simply the origin of data that is being used. The next definition of term that we're going to look at is metadata. So when you look at metadata or meta information, it's simply data that provides information about other data. Then we're going to look at the next term, which is data sets. Now, when you look at data sets, it's simply a collection of related sets of information that is composed of separate elements but can be manipulated as a unit by a computer. The next term of definition we look at is big data. So when you look at big data, basically it's just a term that is used to describe a large and complex data sets that exceeds processing capabilities of traditional database systems. Okay. The next term of definition is machine learning. So when you look at machine learning, it's just a subset of artificial intelligence that enables systems to learn from data, improve their performance over time without being explicitly programmed. The other term that we look at is data mining. Okay. So when you look at data mining, basically this is just a process of discovering patterns, correlations, and insights from large data sets, statistical methods, machine learning algorithms, and artificial intelligence techniques. Okay. Then we also look at what data warehouse is. So when you look at data warehouse basically is just a centralized repository that stores structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data from multiple sources for reporting and analysis purposes. Okay. The next definition of term we look at is statistical analysis. So when you look at statistical analysis, this is just basically the concept of mathematics, okay, which involves the process of collecting, cleaning, organizing, and analyzing and interpreting data to uncover patterns and relationships using statistical method. The next term that we look at is data governance. So we look at data governance. This is just a framework of policies, procedures, and controls that ensure data quality, data integrity, data security, and compliance within the organization. And second, lastly, we look at data privacy. So we look at data privacy. These are just protection of sensitive personal information from unauthorized access, use, or disclosure in accordance with privacy regulations and policies. And lastly, on our definition of terms, we look at business intelligence. When you look at business intelligence, this is just a technical process for analyzing data and delivering actionable information that helps executives, managers, and workers to make informed business decisions. Okay, so these terms are not limited to the 13 items I've listed, rather there are more. But based on what I have to present for you, I only limited myself to 10. Okay, so we can move on to the next slide. Now, under the next slide, we'll define data analytics and the data analytic process itself. So when you look at data analytics, by definition, as I've highlighted in the above definition, it simply refers to the process of examining, cleaning, transforming, in data modeling, the goal of uncovering meaningful insights, patterns, and trends that can inform decision-making, improve performance, and drive innovation. It involves using various techniques, methodologies, and tools to analyze data sets of different sizes, complex, ranging from structured databases to unstructured text and multimedia files. So this is the definition I chose on data analytics. Now, when it comes to the process, when you look at data analytics, it's a systematic process, okay? And below these are steps that are listed under data analytics. So let's have a look at the steps. Okay, so when you look at the steps, the first step under data analytics process is to specify the goals and parameters, which is important. Okay, so under this, we need to state clearly the goals of the data analytics project, as well as the analysis of the table, so as we can set the parameters. That is the first step. Okay, and it is important. It is important because it helps us with decision making when we are setting goals. So the goals have to be smart. Okay. Now the second part that we're going to look at under the data analytic process is data gathering. Now when we look at data gathering, we have to select external and internal data sources that hold information required for the analysis. Much earlier, I gave examples of different sources of data. It may come from sensors. It may come from databases. It may come from log files, and so on and so forth. So we need to select either externally or internal data sources. Then the other thing that we need to do under data gathering is we can also collect data from different platforms, such as the social media, okay, where you have where you can have structured databases, right, and so on and so forth. Okay. Then the third part of it is we need the preparing and exploring of data. So under here, we need to investigate the data first to learn about its distribution, structures, and features. Okay? So under here, we're going to apply data visualization, descriptive statistics, as well as exploratory data analysis to find trends and patterns and outliners. Okay. Then the fourth step is analyzing and modeling the data. So based on the analysis goal, we have to choose the proper modeling strategies and analytical tools. I'll highlight the tools in a later or at a later stage. Okay. So under step 4, we're going to use or utilize machine learning algorithms. Okay, we're going to employ or use statistical methodologies as well as predictive modeling approaches to examine the data so as to derive the insights. Okay. Then the fifth stage is the interpretation, or rather the interpretation and generation of insight. So under here, we're going to analyze data, then turn it into insights and suggestions that can be put into practice. Okay. Then the sixth step is making and carrying out decisions. Okay, making and carrying out decisions. So under here, we have to make strategic efforts and decision-making process for more informed by insights gained from the whole process from step 1, 2, 3, up to step 5. Okay, so this is where now we have to create strategies, action plans, and intervention based on the analysis suggestions. Okay, then the last step is we need to constantly learn and work on the improvements. So under step 7, we need to encourage a culture of learning and continual growth by utilizing comments and understandings from earlier examinations. So in this case, we can investigate fresh approaches or use different instruments as well as data sources to improve efficiency of the data analytics procedure. Okay. So we can move on to the next slide, where we look at different kinds of data analytics. There are basically 4 kinds of data analytics or types. So we'll look at the first type, which is the descriptive analytics. Okay. Second one is diagnostic analytics. Third one is predictive analytics. The fourth one is prescriptive analytics. So these 4 are different. So let me give an in-depth on each of the following. The first one is descriptive analytics. Okay. So by seeing the patterns and trends in both historical and present data, descriptive analytics offers a current picture. It provides solutions, queries about historical events as well as current affairs. Okay. The second one, which is diagnostic analytics. So in order to identify the causes of previous performance, diagnostic analytics focuses on the logic underlying the trends and patterns found in the earlier stage. When we look at predictive analytics, so when you look at predictive analytics, it makes use of methods such as forecasting and the use of machine learning algorithms to ascertain future probabilities. Then lastly, we look at the fourth one, which is prescriptive analytics. So when you look at prescriptive analytics, it offers targeted answers and suggestions for the next steps to take in order to accomplish a desired result. It does so by utilizing machine learning algorithms and business rules. So if you look at the chart which is here, okay, so we have on the y-axis, we have the value, on the x-axis, we have the complexity. So as it increases in value, okay, and also as the complexity increases as you move to your right, we discover that we have the past, as shown here, where we have the descriptive and diagnostic. And then as it increases in value on both the complexity and the value, you observe that we have the future. Now the future encompasses the predictive and prescriptive analytics. Okay. Then we want to look at the value and advantages of data analytics. What are the values and advantages of data analytics for the the importance or significance of the benefits of data analytics. Okay, so now one of the values is that number one, it helps in decision-making process becomes better. Okay, because when you look at data, it provides factual evidence, okay, based on what is available, and it leads to more confident and strategic choices. Okay, when you look at marketing efficiency, it increases the marketing efficiency. Okay, based on the trends that have been there. Okay, so when you look at marketing efficiency, it increases because you look at what has been happening in the past, then you analyze the information which is there. So as a result of that, the marketing efficiency increases. The third value is that the quality of customer services increases. Okay, the quality of customer services increases. The fourth one is that operations become efficient. The fifth one is as an institution or an organization, some competitive advantage. You have a competitive advantage. Okay, the sixth one is that look at risk management. Okay, then the seventh one, you have improved quality and compliance. Okay, we can move on to the next slide, which is in line with the list that I showed much earlier, where we look at recognizing data analytics placed in decision making. Yeah. So the following should be taken into account. The first one is clarity regarding the choice. Clarity regarding the choice. Clarity regarding the choice. So under clarity regarding the choice, we have to identify specific questions or problems needing a solution. And the second one is that we look at quality and accessibility of data. So under here, we have to assess the availability and quality of relevant data for analysis. The third one is complementary knowledge. So here we consider additional expertise or qualitative factors that are needed. Okay. The fifth one is that appropriate methods. So under here, we have to choose the ideal methods or tools in the process of decision making. Okay. Then the fifth one is we have to give an explanation and constraints. Okay. Then the sixth one, we look at the incorporation of diverse views. And the seventh one, we look at accountability and assessment. Okay. So now we move on to the next slide, where it looks at essential methods and resources for data analysis. So under here, basically, when you look at essential methods, these are just tools. Okay. Now the following are the tools that are needed when carrying out the data analysis or data analytics itself. The first one is programming languages. Now this is more technical. I'll not delve so much into it, but I'll just highlight a few points on it. So when you look at programming languages, the following are used. We have Python, which is a popular programming language for data analysis. Okay, because of the features it has in terms of simplicity, it has extensive libraries such as the Panda, the NumPy, the SciPy, and the Matplotlib. The other programming language which is used is R, which is a statistical programming language used for data analytics or data analysis, statistical modeling, visualization, and it has got an extensive libraries packages as well, such as the DPY, the GeoPlot2, and the CatRat. Okay. The other tool that can be used is data visualization tools. Now, amongst the data visualization tools, we have the Tableau, which is a powerful data visualization tool that enables users to create interactive dashboards, reports, and visualization from various data sources. Under data visualization, we have also the BI, which I mentioned earlier, but in this case, it's the Power BI, which is just a business analytical tool by Microsoft that allows users to visualize, share insights from data using interactive dashboards and reports. The other tool or programming language tool is we look at the SAA, the SAS, which is Statistical Analysis System, which is a software utility used for advanced analytics, data management, and business intelligence. Also, the other one which is similar is the SPSS, which is a statistical package used for statistical analysis, data management, and also predictive modeling. We move on to the next one, which is statistical analysis tools, course which I highlighted, right? Then we have databases. So for database management systems, we have the open source, which is MySQL, okay, or PostgreSQL. So when you look at MySQL, it's just an open source relational database that is used widely for storing and managing structured data. And when you look at the PostgreSQL, it's also an open source object relational database known for its extensibility, scalability, and robust features. Okay, number 5, we look at big data technologies. Okay, so big data technologies, the following are the tools as we have Apache Spark, we have Apache Hadoop. So these are open source framework for distributed storage and processing of large data sets across clusters of computers. Whereas Apache Spark, they are also similar. Okay, in that they are all used for processing large data sets across clusters of computers. Then we have machine learning platforms. So examples of machine learning platforms include scikit-learn, which is a machine learning library in Python. It provides simple and efficient tools for data mining and data analysis. And we have TensorFlow, which is also an open source for machine learning framework. It was developed by Google for building and deep learning models. And then the other tool that is used is text analytics and natural language processing. So under the natural language toolkit, which is just a Python library for NLP tasks, such as part of speech tagging, okay, when you have stemming and also tokenization. Okay. Then we have the cloud platforms or cloud computing platforms. So examples of these cloud computing platforms, we have Amazon Web Services, which is AWS, which offers a suite of cloud computing services, including storage, computing, database analytics, and machine learning. We have Google Cloud Platform, okay, which also offers similar aforementioned cloud servicing. Then there is also Alibaba Cloud Computing as well. Okay, so we move on to the next slide, which is the resources for data analytics. Okay, so when you look at the resources of data analytics, the resources for data analysis. So the following are the resources. The first one is documentation and guide. So when you look at the first one, so there are official documentations, okay? And there are many tools as well and libraries. Some of them I mentioned them much earlier, which includes the Panda, the NumPy, the Scikit Learn, which provide comprehensive documentation and user guides on their websites. Okay, then we have online resources. Okay, some of the online resources include such as towards data science, data quest, okay, and also as well as articles on data analysis techniques. In the second one are forums and communities. Now on the web, there are different platforms or forums and communities. So one of the most common ones is Stack Overflow, which is a popular online community where users can answer questions relating to programming, data analysis, and also data science. Then we have Edit. Okay, we have Data Science Central, which is also an online community and resource hub for data scientists and analytics, and also practitioners. It also features articles, tutorials, and discussions on data analysis and big data. And thirdly, there are blogs and podcasts. Following are highlighted below. So we have KD Nuggets, which is a leading data science and analytics blog that features news, tutorials, resources on data analysis, machine learning, as well as artificial intelligence. We have also Data Skeptic, which is a podcast, and it explores topics in data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence through interviews, discussions, and analysis of research papers. And lastly, we have open source projects and repositories. One of the common ones is GitHub, which hosts a vast repository of open source projects, or repositories. Then lastly, but not the least, we have Kaggle, which is a platform for data science, competition, datasets, notebooks, where users can access datasets, participate in competition, and explore data analysis and projects for the community. Okay. So here are some of the case studies which I've listed below, but they're not limited to these. Okay. So the first one is that of Netflix content suggestion engine. So what Netflix has done is that it has employed data analytics to examine user behavior and viewing habits in order to provide its members with customized content recommendations. So Netflix recommendations engine makes appropriate movie and TV show recommendations based on user preference, viewing history, ratings, and demographic data, which boosts user engagement and retention. So that's the first case study of one of the practical use of data analytics. The second one is we look at is Yango. Okay, Yango's focusing of demand and dynamic pricing. So when you look at the way Yango uses this, you discover that Yango implements dynamic pricing algorithms using data analytics to modify rates time based on supply and demand. So Yango is able to balance supply and demand, optimize driver earnings, and reduce rider wait times by evaluating data on the rider, demand, then driver availability, traffic patterns, outside events. So Yango uses data analytics to effectively assign drivers to various places, as well as to predict the rider demand. Okay, so these are some of the two case studies I've used. Of course, I'm not limiting myself to these. There are various as well. There are a lot. Okay. Now, the next thing that we look at is the best ways to best ways to use data analytics decision. Okay, so the following are highlighted. The first thing we have to do is we have to establish specific goals. Okay. Number two, we have to locate useful data sources. Third one, we have to prepare and bring the data. Fourth one, we have to choose the right analytical method. Fourth one is that we have to show data to understanding. The sixth one, we have to make use of statistical analysis. Seventh one, we have to confirm doubts. The eighth one, we have to incorporate data into processing for making decision. Ninth one, we have to encourage data. Last we have to observe, then work. Okay. Then in summary, based on what we've covered, so you observe that decisions have to be made. And looking at the business ecosystem that exists, yeah, data is, and it helps in so many ways. Okay? So organizations may boost customer services and increase operational effectiveness, foster innovation, and spark growth by utilizing data analytics. So in today's data-driven world, data analytics equips decision makers with knowledge and skills that need to anticipate market trends, negotiate uncertainty, make well-informed decisions that lead to financial success. So in conclusion, I will conclude by highlighting this. Say organization may maintain flexibility, adaptability, and be responsiveness to evolving business environments by allocating resources towards data analytics. So this will enable them to secure a growth trajectory and a competitive edge in the digital age. So this is the presentation that I have. Are there any questions?
Attendees, do you have any other questions? So that is one question. Is Texila offering data analyst courses? Like kindly check Q&A.
Yeah, okay, so in answering that question that is coming from Madam Soswale, firstly, that's a good question. So we are not offering data analytics as a program on its own, but we have programs like artificial intelligence, we have digital forensics, and we have data warehousing and testing and all this kind of courses. So I believe in one of these IT specializations, you'll be able to find data analytics. I hope I've answered that question.
Okay, thank you. Hello?
Are you able to hear me? Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. We can able to hear you. You can ask your question.
Actually, it's a concern. On slide number 7, with our presenter, I wish he could have also presented on. I presented an example on how to analyze kinds of data analytics with regards to the algorithm presented in slide 6. I'm sure that on slide 6, that is an algorithm, isn't it? For instance, to marry with one of the advantages on slide 8, where it says that it makes decision-making better. For instance, by picking up maybe a problem, code it, and you present the result and you extrapolate the expected result for the future to ensure better decision-making. Otherwise, that is a good presentation.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you so much. The reason why sure, thank you. The reason why I had to give it in more of descriptive is because of the technicalities and jargons that are involved. Okay, so of course it's a response. Thank you so much for that. Next time I'll be able to go in depth and look at the technical aspect of it. So if you look at my presentation, was more of the soft skills part of it, where I just simply highlight and explain how it is done. If I was to go into the technical details itself, we're looking at the time that has been allocated. It's really not short, but it will not be enough because I have to start with the basics, then begin to take it from there, then we build, and then we deploy, and then we test, and then we run it. Okay, thank you so much. Will the presentation be shared? Okay, for the presentation, it's available. Even the references, I think I'll share to share to everyone. Sure. The next one is do you know any active data science club? At the moment, the clubs have not yet known any of them. However, there are platforms online where you register, then get to know more about data science itself. What is the difference between data analytics and data analysis? Okay, it's a very good question. When you look at, let me just put it in this way. When you look at, I mentioned earlier on the terms, although I didn't fully list all the terms that I used. Okay, I only gave the definition of data, and I'll refer to the definition of data analytics on the charts. Okay, which says data analytics refers to a process of examining, cleaning, and transforming and modeling data with the goal of uncovering meaningful insights, patterns, and trends that can form decision making, improve performance, and drive innovation. Okay, so that is the definition. Okay, now when you look at data analysis is simply it involves methods or techniques that is used to analyze or define the insights from the data itself. Okay, so that is the difference which is there. So when you look at data analytics, it's a systematic process. Okay, whereas data analysis, this is where you look at techniques. Okay, the different techniques or methods. Sure. Where can I find the data sets for Yango? Are you able to share the link? Okay. For data sets for Yango, unless I confirm. But the best, I gave an example, it's Kaji. It's a website, you can find all data sets. It cannot only be for Yango, but there are other data sets that are available. Okay, so you can visit the website for Kaji, you find data sets of from different various sectors, such as the pharmaceutical industry, the education sector, the finance sector, and other platforms as well. Of course, you will not find the exact data sets for Yango, but there are other alternatives that you may find which can be used. Okay, so for the link, I think I'll be able to share the website for Kaji.
So I know no other question from the attendee side. Let's end up the session. A big virtual thanks to each and every one of you making our webinar a success. Your patience, engagement, and enthusiasm were truly appreciated. We hope you found the session is insightful and valuable. Look forward to connect with you again in the virtual space. Thank you.